happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to see this one, as we're one step closer to saying goodbye to that Fox News the 5 host, Jessica Tarlov, and her Trump derangement syndrome, after she just showed us that she's completely lost it in this newest update, guys. I'm excited to get into it, so we're not straight into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we even get into it, you guys, hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. And without further ado, let's get straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
I'm trying to remember if anyone ever got that passionate about mass layoffs in the automotive industry or in financial services, Jesse.
Well, I remember when the Keystone Pipeline workers got shelved.
Yes.
No one cried. They said, learn to code.
Learn to code.
Or all those guys that were working for the U.S. military were fired for not getting vaccinated. Or all the black Americans who lost their jobs to migrants. No one cared. But some people got an 8-month buyout, a severance package with full benefits. It's not really the same. Dana, we are waging a 21st century information warfare campaign against the left, and they are using tactics from the 1990s. They are holding tiny press conferences, tiny little rallies. They're screaming into the ether on MSNBC. This is what you call top-down command and control. You get your talking points from a newspaper, and you put it on the broadcast network, and then it disappears. What you're seeing on the right is asymmetrical. It's like grassroots guerrilla warfare. Someone says something on social media, Musk retweets it, Rogan podcasts it, Fox broadcasts it, and by the time it reaches everybody, millions of people have seen it. It's free money. And we're actually talking about expressing information. They are suppressing information. If you watch CBS News, they don't even talk about the scandals that the money is going to. Sri Lankan transgenders are getting electric cars. It's costing millions of dollars. They don't tell you about that. We tell you about it. It's colorful, it's witty, it's interesting, and it goes viral. That's the difference. They are late to the game, and there's no way they're catching up.
I'm wholeheartedly on board with Jesse Waters. The way they're fighting this battle, it's simply they're doomed. They're doomed from the start. You know, we're way ahead of them with the just bringing all the news, bringing the facts, the details. They're leaving that out, and that's why you're seeing such an outrage on the left for Elon Musk and his federal government cuts through the Department of Government Efficiency.
You did a little deep dive today on Fort Knox.
That I did. The interesting thing about Fort Knox is that the K is silent.
What?
Did you know that? K-N-O-X, and K stands for Krugerrands, which suggests that perhaps there's less gold in Fort Knox than you think. You know, Fort Knox is evil. In 1933, Jesse, a few years before you were born, FDR declared private ownership of gold to be illegal and then took it under the threat of imprisonment. That was our gold. We didn't steal it from the Indians the way it was supposed to be. It was stolen from us. And then a year later, he doubled the price of the gold. And since then, it hasn't been audited since 1953, 148 million troy ounces of gold, and we don't know if it's actually there. What if it's not there at all?
Oh, my God.
I know. What if it's, I don't know, what if Dr. Phil has it? I have no idea.
That could
Poor
start a
Michael
war, right?
Steele. If he doesn't do that every day, he doesn't have a job. He's the guy you go to for the exploding head move. He's like that stress ball, you know, the stress ball you squeeze and the little things pop out of the ears. He has to do that every day because he used to be the former RNC chair 14 years ago, and he became the former RNC chair back then, and he's been milking that ever since. It's not relevant. It's as relevant as saying Ted Bundy was a Boy Scout. He was, believe it or not. I even did research on that.
Why does he know
What's hilarious about the protests, and then I'll shut up, although people want me to keep talking. Those protests are the same exact game plan that is used by USAID and other countries, which is to undermine foreign countries with the sitting governments in those countries by creating discontent. You know they're funding it because the people shouting the loudest are the ones who are on the payroll. The protest really is no different than a guy screaming at a cop because he wants to look through the back of his car because he can smell the pot and the booze.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, who is really upset? You got to really look at the whole situation, the wide scope of this. Who's upset about the federal government being audited? Who is really crying about the IRS, the ones who are in our pockets the most, being audited? I mean, these folks on the left, these lunatics on the left, are upset because we just cooked their golden goose.
The president won a case today with the courts, the judicial branch is saying the president, as the head of the executive branch, has the authority to do what he's doing.
Presidents do it all the time. Everyone in the executive branch of government is the same as Elon Musk. They're not elected. There's something called a special government employee. And the special government employee, there are thousands of them. There are advisors, there are experts, there are consultants. These are people that the POTUS, the president, appoints. And they have to be permitted to do their jobs. And what cracks me up about Michael Steele is he's saying, show that you give a damn. Well, they did. They voted for Donald Trump because they cared about the border in their pocket, and they cared about crime, and they cared about inflation. And then he says, they got your data, you dumb ASS. Well, so did Clapper when he testified before Congress and said, well, we don't really spy on Americans, and then shifts his eye to the left and says, well, not wittingly. You know, his outrage is so misplaced, and it's simply an example of their attempt to maintain political power. It's not about the American people. It's not about us. It's about their maintaining their power. And I just have two more points to make. Now they're going into the IRS. And the IRS has a system, and Jesse, you talked about antiquated systems. The IRS system, I think, was built in the 60s. And it is so antiquated that their IT system has failed all the fraud that they have since identified. And Lois Lerner unfairly targeted 501c3s that were conservatives, and nothing happened to her. You know, that's what happens on the left. We just forgive everybody on the left if they can do something wrong. Well, that's not going to happen anymore, because with Elon Musk, they're identifying crazy things like NIH, National Institute of Health. You say, you can't cut back on that. You can't let people go. And the bottom line is they've got studies on the effect of meditation on parrots. It's all waste and fraud so that they can keep jobs when they're not in power.
Right. It's like some of these things just.
And Judge Janine hitting that nail right on the head as well. You know, it goes back to that point. Who is truly upset? We need to look around at these folks who are screaming, hooting, and hollering about the audits that we're seeing and being conducted throughout our federal government spending, especially over the IRS, because those folks are the ones that need to be investigated for corruption. Those are the ones that are benefiting off our tax dollars.
You could say, well, maybe they are worthwhile programs, but do they need to be paid for by federal dollars? And whoever the next Democratic president is in the future, if DOGE is even slightly successful, the government will be leaner, there'll be less waste, fraud, and abuse, and they could do more with what they have.
Totally. And I think Michael Steele was talking about elected officials from the Democratic Party. He wasn't yelling about rank and file Democrats. He was basically saying to the party infrastructure, you're doing this all wrong. Like, having rallies in Washington, D.C. is not getting the message out about what the real implications of these cuts are. And yeah, whatever Jesse says, I mean, maybe we'll find out next week that it's, you know, as true as the condoms to Gaza. But there's real stuff and stories you could be. Oh, cool.
I did.
Okay. So he made that up. Don't bother fact checking it. It was made up.
And Jessica Tarlov, with her baloney stats that she always pulls out of thin air, she's coming after Jesse Waters for pointing out, you know, what Elon Musk, his Department of Government Efficiency, has been transparent with us about. I mean, they always try to go after and nitpick the numbers, but the fact of the matter is it's still happening. Unnecessary, wasteful, fraudulent government spending. And it's all being uncovered by guess who? Elon Musk.
Okay. So he made that up. Don't bother fact checking it. It was made up. You need to talk about the 3,400 people from the fire service that were fired. For instance, I mean, Donald Trump was out in California talking about how we need more people working on this, that you need to be raking the leaves. Then we're firing people. There, 57% of the land in California is run by the federal government. So you need to do that. Firing these disease detectives when we have measles outbreaks. You could talk about that. Go out to your home constituents and talk about that. The nuclear weapons workers that were fired and then they had to get rehired because that was a mistake. Or even on a day like today, and I understand that the plane flipped over in Canada, that they're firing air traffic controllers and they're showing no cause, not based on performance or conduct for doing that. They did it.
Now, let's be real with ourselves out here. No one's job is truly secure. Grow up. Folks lose their job every day. And this cleanup that we're seeing being carried out right now, it's long overdue.
And they're showing no cause, not based on performance or conduct for doing that. They did it Friday night on Valentine's Day at 7 p.m. So you
Not
talk about
Valentine's Day.
the best day of the year. No, but those are
Like it
real
matters.
stories that are affecting Americans on the ground.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Jessica Tarlov once again showing us that she doesn't deserve a seat on the set of Fox News 5. Also showing us how disconnected from reality our nation, these folks on the left, truly are. I mean, the way they're coming after Donald Trump, now they're coming after Elon Musk. This is not Trump derangement syndrome we're seeing anymore. It's called now the DOGE derangement syndrome, I think, is taking over, where Elon Musk and him snooping through our federal government spending is doing something to the effect of that Trump derangement syndrome, guys. I don't know. You guys got to hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think? And also make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one.